Hello, everyone. It is your girl, Deborah Vines-Epps on Tokyo Talk, where you see
Hello.
me on Thursdays. Yes, Jus K, you here? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. We having some technical difficulties, and it's okay. Hold on. Let me see. All right. Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay. All right. So this is what I want you to do. So y'all, everything was good before we actually came on. So I don't know what is going on now. Um, Let me see. Just K, do
One.
me a favor, leave out and then come back on for me.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Okay, so somebody in the comments just said I hear y'all both, but you need to hear me. Okay, hold on. All right, let me see. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
One, two, three, four.
I can hear you. So let me put a
Yeah, I just can't hear you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm not sure why this is happening, y'all. We just did a test like for 30 minutes. We was up here talking and now this is
This
going
is
on.
crazy.
It is, but it's okay because it's not going to defeat us. They don't want us to talk about choosing happiness over childhood trauma. Okay, y'all. So he's gonna log out and come back in. Marquita, can you hear me good? Type yes or no if you can hear me good. This is the good thing while I'm waiting for her to respond. This is the good thing about being live. You all see that is thank you, Marquita. You all see that is raw and in person. And some of my videos will be pre-recorded. However, I like to do it live because this also shows that this is life. How do you adjust when things happen? So let me bring Jess K back to the stage. Just 1 second.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you
I
hear
can hear
me?
you.
All
Yep.
right. See? We would
Yeah,
not
it
be
was
defeated, right? Okay.
no.
No, we would not. So, um, I think what happened once the intro played, and Quitty, can you hear both of us now? I'm going to wait for a comment for her to let me know. Once the intro played, it may have kicked you out. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. It did.
But we're back. We're back, and it's good. And I'm glad that we can continue because there are a lot of viewers that people that came into my inbox, and I'll read some of these things tonight of some of their experiences that they shared. But let me go back and introduce you all. So I have the pleasure of having Jus K, who was originally from Brooklyn, New York, but he now
Yes.
resides in Charlotte, North Carolina. And
Yes.
Just K, we met him because he was a part of one of our first shows where he was an opening act. I think that was for when we had Tank, Cakes, and Silk.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I was
and
a
you
big
killed it. Yes, and then our recent show that we had, where we had Lele there, he produced artists too. So Just K is a R&B artist that he's been singing for over what 15 about
yes.
14, 15 years now. And so
Yes.
not only does he have songs that he write as an R&B artist, he also produced artists. So our last show that we had with that girl Lele in Raleigh, North Carolina, one of his artists came to perform. So it's a
Yes.
pleasure that you took time out of your busy schedule to come here tonight. I want you to tell them really quick about the song that you did, and it went really viral. I mean, it went big. I mean, it was in North Carolina. Well, Rocky Mount, right?
Yep. Rocky Mount is called Special. You
Yes.
know, Paul Andre broke that song on Power 95.5. And my life changed after that. It was just like, I was doing shows out there, and I have fan base out there, and I really appreciate the love, and it really catapulted me to another level. It gave me the legs that I needed, you
And
know.
look, I'm going to. I know I said I was going to do this at the end, but can you give us just a little taste of that
Oh
song?
yeah.
Okay.
Been a long, long time since I said I love you. And I know it's been a while since I took the time to hold you. And I'm sorry, girl, girl, take my hand and let me tell you how much you mean to me and that you're special. I should say it more, that it's you I adore. You shouldn't have to question yourself about me. Yeah.
Oh, just you see, you see these cheeks. Let me tell you, in
Yeah.
this house, we love music. My husband, oh my gosh, he loves music. My 16-year-old loves music. He's starting to DJ now. And then my 6-year-old loves music. So I'm surrounded. Oh, okay. I know that song. Yes, Queen. I'm telling you, it sounds so good. So when I found out about you opening up for us, when I heard that song, I was like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh yeah, I
So
appreciate it.
no problem, no problem. This topic that we're going to do tonight, I appreciate you. I'm going to use the word vulnerable. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that I was ecstatic to know that it was a man that wanted to talk about choosing happiness over childhood trauma, especially because the perception of our men now is to be strong, right?
Mhm.
And because of that, boys when they're young, they are taught to, boys don't cry. You're okay, get up, right? You don't talk. It's pretty much the thing where boys are told that it's okay if you don't do this, right? But at the same time, those things carry over into your adulthood. And so
Yes.
tonight we're gonna just kind of open up because I want others to understand that it's okay to talk about it. And that's why the platform of Talk Your Talk is here, because I cover those topics that I know the world deals with, right? It's not about, doing things that always require things where it may be ratchet or the worldly news. No, I want to talk about these things right here. So I appreciate you coming on tonight with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to start out with this first. It says that, and I like to just kind of have some evidence base. It says too often in the grown up world, the needs of the inner child are ignored or deprioritized. It says 1 billion children aged 2 to 17 years have experienced physical, sexual, or emotional violence or neglect every year. And in adulthood, that unresolved childhood trauma can manifest into several ways. Do you agree with that?
Yep. I totally agree with that. It definitely does. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of share with me, with you, and again, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, but I want you to kind of share with everyone about what childhood trauma meant to you and how it
Okay.
formed you to be the person you are now, where you're
Okay.
struggling and trying to choose happiness.
Well, the thing is, all I remember was being 3 years old. I mean, now I know what it was. My brother, he was protecting me, and my father was abusing my mother. All I know, I mean, now I know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As you get older, you're like, Dad, so that's what he was doing. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember him snatching the phone cord out of a wall. And my mother was like really screaming, like, you know, and that I remember that. And then I remember us leaving, and that was, you three. And then
Yeah.
you have like little blank spots and spots where you just don't remember. And then I just remember having a stepdad.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
happened. But then I remember my mother going to court. Now I'm older, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
Then I would see my real father sitting over there, and my mother would tell me, "Don't you say nothing to him because we in court." But I don't know that. I'm just,
Right.
and I'm like, "Hey, Dad," was just excited to see him. I didn't know what they were going through,
Right.
and you know, I just remember having a stepfather after that, like a little, I don't know how long after, you know, but I do remember that, and having to go and visit my real father every 2 weeks,
Mm,
you know. And one of the traumas is I didn't choose that.
mm,
And now I got to leave my friends. I'm leaving every 2 weeks, every Saturday morning. We would just spend that one night over there. But my father, he lived in the Bronx and we lived in Brooklyn. But you leaving and you seeing all your friends on their bikes and playing, and you got to go do visit your father, something that you didn't create. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
And not all the time I wanted to go there, but the court tells you, you know, every 2 weeks, this is where they, you know. So I don't know that, but you have to go. And then I didn't really like it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a child. You
yeah,
want to do different stuff and you want to be around kids and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man, that really did affect me like a lot, like a whole lot. Because a lot of times I didn't want to go when I was forced to go. It wasn't that my father was doing anything wrong.
right. And I'm glad you shared um that part with us, because the thing that stands out in this situation that you just shared is that through it all, you had to adapt to it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
was there any conversation that your mother or your father had with you to give you some understanding, or they just force you into it? Not that it was their intention, because life happened, but at your age, were you given the opportunity to understand? Were you put it in therapy? Did you have the opportunity to talk about it at all?
I had um I had therapy kind of like growing up because I was a troubled kid. I was
Mm,
bad in school, and you know, so they was trying to give me, I don't know what the medicine is called, to calm me down,
mm,
and that wasn't the problem. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just going through stuff, and I actually, I'm gonna say this too. I wet the bed till I was like 18.
yeah. That's part that's a part of the symptom of neglect. Like there are so many symptoms, and because that was something that the trauma that you experienced, I'm sure is more to it, but the trauma that you experienced, like a lot of the abuse that happened, that's the
Mhm.
reason why. That was
Yeah.
normal for that was a normal response for what you was going through.
But then I would get a beating for peeing all the time. So now I'm being transparent.
I appreciate
Now I'm looking for rubber bands, trying to stop. I don't know why can't I wake up to use the bathroom? How I'm
mm,
getting a beating. I'm hiding underwear. I'm trying to hide cover. Like, you get what I'm saying? And
I do.
knowing where none of that is coming from. And you know, it's just it's that thing where parents just didn't know. You know, they was just trying to do the best that they could, but not realizing they also are hurting you in the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
and
and I'm
I'm
sorry.
listening.
Um,
No.
I'll just interject every once in a while it's on my mind. I'm not here. I just want to put this out. I'm not here to be a therapist. I'm not here to play that role. I just want to make that clear. But I am here at some points. I will most definitely validate and empathize based on what you're sharing, because this is very sensitive. And maybe you have or have not talked about it before, but the transparency of it, I really appreciate that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
very transparent. You know, that's what I'm here for. That's why, you know, I truly believe that you go through things to help others just like you, just
yeah.
like yourself. But I remember I got a little older because, you know, I couldn't understand like, this is, and then my stepfather, this is another thing. At 11 years old, all right, now everything is going good. He dies of leukemia. So then I watched my mother lose it. You know what
Mm,
I mean? She was left. You know, he left her, and we went from the first trauma to stability to him
mm.
passing. But before that, we eating at dinner table every night as a family. We're praying, and we like, you know, he was Muslim. My mother was a Christian. They knew
Okay.
how to work that out, but we just couldn't bring pork in the house. That was it. That was his only thing. Don't bring
Right,
pork in.
right.
Other than that, yeah, when he passed away, then it goes from now it's back to turmoil again.
Mm.
You get what I mean? Because now we're not eating dinner. Now we just taking our plates and we just going in the room. And sometimes my mother would just like, well, you better find something to eat, because she was just,
She was grieving. She was
yeah,
grieving. Yep. She was grieving. She didn't know how to deal with it. And so her response was, I want to be by myself. And so there's
oh,
neglect again, right? There's neglect again on top of what you experienced before when your mom and your dad separated. I'm going to read something. It says, early experiences shape us into who we are as adults and how we form relationships in the grown-up world. Has an easy childhood. Traumatic events in childhood can be difficult to heal from, and many experience the impact of unresolved trauma well into adulthood. Do you feel like a lot of that trauma that you experienced back then, Just K, has filtered over into your adulthood, and as a result, your response to some things is a result from the unresolved trauma that you had?
yes, when I had my own, really like hit. I was always there as a father, but
Mm-hmm.
um, so I'm gonna say this to say
Mm-hmm.
that from my mother, when that part happened, I started looking for love
Mm.
in women that had trauma in them.
Why
So
was that? Why was that, Just K? Why was
it was
that?
a familiar feeling.
Mm.
It was just a familiar feeling.
Were you
Um,
looking were you
here
looking for the nurturance from somebody else that's showing the same similar pain that your mama showed you?
it was the attention that my mother wasn't giving me.
Mm.
You know, um, it was a female. You know, but then also like growing up, because it's so much to this story that it's just crazy. But um, you know, my mother's biggest fear with two sons, she did not want her children to be gay,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
she used to say, if a girl give it to you, take it. Don't be no pussy,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing that led me into doing that. And then she got saved while I'm now doing what you told me to do. Then she
Mm.
gets saved. Don't bring no girls in my house. It's
You're
Do you get what I'm
confused.
saying?
You're confused now.
So
Yeah.
now I'm sneaking girls in anyway and getting in trouble. But she's not realizing. I mean, you get what I'm saying.
It's a
So
result because she gave you permission.
yeah,
She gave you permission to do this to deflect
mhm,
something else that she
yeah,
didn't want to happen. But at the same time, when she made a change in her life, the
yeah.
change didn't catch up with what she had gave y'all
It's like
permission to do.
I forgot about the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's that, man. It's that, So then you have your uncles. You know, they were real heavy alcoholics. Um, they gave me alcohol at 7. Because they was babysitting. They was like, they be all in there doing push-ups and stuff. Like, come here, little man. Like, you're gonna be a man. You're gonna be a man, right? So you have that. Then you have them telling you stories of the first time they ever did it. And
At
it's
7 years old.
yeah, 7. Yeah. They like, I mean, I never was molested or anything like that, but it's just still that. It made you eager to like want to do it. But
Yeah,
I didn't start having sex till I was 15 though. But I wanted to like bad, like
right, right.
But it's just all of that. And then when I did do it, I ended up catching the STD. So
So yep. So
it's
so so
like
you just get everything full circle at such a young age. But you remember that it started at age 3. You remember the age 3.
yeah,
A lot of kids can point out an experience, but it's hard for them to pinpoint the age. You know exactly when the trauma started.
yeah, I know exactly what age I was because
Yeah.
I remember them trying to get me to put up 3 fingers. That's how I know.
Yep.
Somebody be like,
So,
"How old are you now?" Like, you be trying
yep.
to.
That's that one thing that stood out to you. Now, at any point, did you feel like your mom was doing the best that she could do?
Oh yeah, she definitely was. She definitely was trying. She was working two jobs, and
Yep.
so where we lived at, you have the middle is private houses, and there's nothing but single mothers on the block. Kind of. There's some mothers with their father. There's some like married couples, but most of them didn't have that structure.
Mm-hmm.
My mother came out of that structure, but her husband died, and
Okay.
so I was in between the projects and the other block with the apartments. So we're in the
Okay.
middle, and all the schools we went to, nothing but hurt kids.
Yep. So would you
So
say being raised by a single mother where you witness physical, verbal abuse,
mhm.
neglect, um, being introduced to certain things at a young age, did that play a major role on how you treated women? Did it
at
did
first,
at first?
at first,
Okay. Okay.
see,
Did
I used to, like I said, the girls that I would choose, they would be very abusive to me, scratch my face and like physically.
mm-hmm,
And then my mother would be like, "Don't you ever let a woman put her hands on you again." You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
So it's just that thing. But then it's like when you do it back, you're less of a man. So
mm,
it's just so confusing. But I'm choosing this path. You get what I'm saying? At 15, the girl I was dealing with had like 3 abortions.
mm.
Yeah, my mother gave up, let her just live in the house she stayed next door. You understand what I'm saying? But it's just all of that. It was just no structure near the end, and I just remember me asking my father. I said, "Did you used to beat on mommy?" And he admitted to it, but
Yeah.
he said something that it blew my mind because he was always very intelligent, and he had like 3 strokes, so he ended up being in a wheelchair. And I remember me asking him, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "I was 99% wrong, but she had to be 1%."
Mm.
And that, when I tell you that one little thing he said, yeah.
What did it do to you? What could you have heard differently that would have changed your perspective on what he said? Because he took 99% of it. What was
Yeah.
wrong with him giving your mom that 1%?
I don't know, man. I mean, now that I'm older, I get it.
Oh,
Now
no,
that
no,
I've
no, no.
dealt,
I'm not, let me say this. I'm not taking away from how you felt. Let me make that clear. I'm not taking away from how you felt. I just want to hear how that 1% made you feel a certain type way in that moment, how that
oh,
1% made you feel like that.
I saw the 1% instantly. Like him as a man, when he said that to me, he knew he was talking to a younger man, and he knew exactly what to say. He said he was 99% wrong, but she had to be 1%. And instantly, when he said that, I saw her 1%.
Wow. Let me read something else.
Okay.
Adults who were emotionally neglected do not link their symptoms with their childhood trauma because the neglect is out of their awareness. That goes back to what you said. You were 3. I didn't know. I just remember what was happening, right? I really didn't know what was going on. It also says in adulthood, it is difficult to understand why we show strong emotional outbursts or freeze, shut down, or react a certain way in difficult situations. The cycle of self-blame and self-hate continues as there's no relief or healing from the unresolved trauma. That is the truth.
Yes.
Like I'm just going to share a little bit. I always disclose, and I'm comfortable with disclosing. When my mom and dad separated, I can't remember how. See, I don't even remember the age, but I remember I was young. I was not in my teenage years. My sister, of course, she's older, but she remember more. But I
Mm-hmm.
know that I remember that my dad was everything to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do remember my dad having my sister and me in his arms and rocking us. And I remember, my dad would give my mom all the money, pay the bills. Like he was doing everything, right? We were happy. But then things started to change.
Mm-hmm.
And you just trying to figure out, not trying to figure out, but
Yeah.
like, what was going on, right? Okay, so what happened? Is it me? Did we do something
Yeah.
wrong?
The first thing you ask is
Right.
yourself.
We start blaming ourselves. And
Yeah.
so then now you're seeing arguments, you're seeing fighting, and then he's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with him being gone, it really changed because now my mom went from working one job to three jobs. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
Jus K. I'm talking about morning, coming back, preparing food, leaving and doing like a part-time and then doing a nighttime to just try to cover the bills. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was, I really don't know the whole situation because even now as an adult, I know bits and pieces because I really don't want to know, right? I don't. That's that inner child, that inner Debbie, that inner girl in me that want to just stay in what I know. That's it. I don't want to know anything else because I'm afraid it may fracture me more, right? I'm
Yeah.
still dealing with some of the things before, the neglect and, not having my father in the house, not having a man there, choosing relationships and because most people who have the father in the house, that when a man says that's my little princess,
Oh yeah.
it's hard for a man to manipulate a girl who has her father in the house, right?
Mm.
I've heard one man told a guy told me one time. He said, "I always go after girls who doesn't have a father in the house."
Yeah, I've heard of
He
that.
told me that, and I said, "Why?" He said, "Because she really don't know what love is. So I can easy portray a certain image to her, and she'll fall for it because she's in a
Mm.
single household."
Yeah.
And when he said, I was in college at the time, but when he said, I was like, "Hey, that is true. That is true." And so just look at how many people no low self-esteem, lack of self-worth, you know, feelings of hopelessness, right?
Yeah.
Self-pity, blame. Like it's you try to be happy, but because of things that you experienced in your childhood, things that you didn't ask for, right, has now became a part of your adulthood because you didn't deal with it.
Yeah.
What happens in the house stays in the house. You better not talk to nobody about it. You better not talk about it at school. Right?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, so that's the culture. We didn't talk about it. And so guess what now? Me, I overcompensated.
Yeah.
What I did, I didn't know how to play sports like that. I played basketball, cross country, track,
Mm.
softball, volleyball. I joined the band. I made sure I was 100% in everything that I did to try to find happiness outside of the home because
Yeah.
I wasn't getting it there because my mom couldn't be the the give us all the attention that she wanted to because she was trying to keep the house together financially.
Mm. 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 Mm.
And that
Yeah.
and our kids are suffering from that now. So
Yeah.
guess what happens? You made a great example, Just K. When you go into the schools, first thing they want to do is give you medicine.
Yeah.
But they fail to sit you down and ask you, did you sleep good last night?
Mm.
Did your parents get into it? Is something happening in the home? Right? And kids are afraid to talk because you're told not to say anything, or you're afraid somebody's going to call CPS or you're going to get in trouble, right?
Mm.
So if you stop labeling the children and try to find out how you can help them, because if I'm not
Mm.
sleeping good at night, or if something happened in my house, the next day I get to school, I might
Yeah.
have poor concentration. I might
Mm-hmm.
doze off and fall asleep. I might not be able to concentrate in school, but now I have ADD or ADHD.
Yeah.
Now you want to give me medication, right?
Yeah. Mm. And the thing is, my mother couldn't handle my stepfather because he wasn't abusive. So anytime they got into it, she would take me and my brother. She'd be like, "These are my kids. They, you know,
Yeah.
and that's wrong. Like, because she didn't want, she didn't know what love felt like.
Mm. She was trying to protect y'all because at this point, you got to think as a mother, at that point, she probably lost all hope for herself. Her priority was y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to flip it a little bit. If anybody have anything that they want to say in the comments, any feedback, anything that you have to, give it the details as far as what you experienced, but just from the conversation for people that just tuning in, whether it's on the Talk Your Talk Facebook page. I can't see all the comments, and even on my personal page and my YouTube. I want you all to know that we are discussing choosing happiness over childhood, and we have R&B artist Jus K here with us. And before he did give us um, um, a touch of his song, and he's going to sing a little bit more towards the end. But we're going to switch it a little bit. At what point did you choose happiness, Jus K?
Um, kind of recently, like after
Wow.
my mother passed away in 2014, and I
Sorry.
went through another depression, kind of like 2021. Yeah, you know, it was just a lot. I was all on television. Nobody knew what happened to me. You know, I went from being all over television and everything to just giving up.
Yeah, because at one point when I was looking at some of your stuff, you were interviewing, you were traveling, you were everywhere.
Definitely,
I
I
mean,
was
just
everywhere.
come off of the one hit, you went so big from that one song. I like people were ready
Yeah,
to sign you and everything, and you really, when I
yeah,
look back, you just disappeared. You did.
yeah. I just because I didn't know what to do. I lost. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I lost God's voice. I lost.
Mm,
That's what it was. Like I just lost God's voice. I lost me. I lost myself. Then I started doing things from my childhood. Like I made
mm,
fried chicken on a certain day because it reminds me of this, or this day will remind me of that, or you know what I'm saying. I started doing that, and one day I don't know. I just woke up like I was on the couch, and I just woke up. I just woke up like, what are you doing? Like, you're not put here. You didn't ask to be here. You
mm.
understand what I'm saying? You should not be what you was taught to be.
Woo.
Depression is taught to you. All of that stuff is taught to you. That's how it's a spirit that passes on, and you have to pass it on, and you have to keep passing
Generational.
on.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
somebody stands up. I remember getting a beating from my grandmother because I asked her who created God. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
They would go to Atlantic City, but we couldn't play cards in the house because it's called you're not supposed to gamble. So
Mm.
now I'm confused. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
I get.
it's just
Yes.
so confusion. Like you know, it's just crazy. Then they had the picture of the long hair, blue eyed Jesus on the it's just so much, man. But now I caught understanding, knowing that where they came from the slave time, where in West Virginia and the coal mines, where the times where really whites hated blacks, and you
Right.
know they was making $1 an hour and stuff like that. So they took pride when they had a steak on the table.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
steak tonight, like so
Right.
you
Right.
and another child, like it's just I didn't. It's a lot of things like I didn't like. That I was like, my kids are not gonna have to go through that. Like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. All the adults eat first and the kids eat last, and it's just that thing. I never liked that because the kids be hungry and they wondering why we're acting up. Like y'all adults, y'all can hold that in. Like just fix everybody plate at the same time. Why does the adults got to eat first? it's, or we all could eat at the same time. It was just too much. It was too hard sometimes. And when it
I'm
didn't have to.
sitting here, I'm watching you, and I see that there's a lot of thought blocking. So thought blocking means that when you're trying to explain something, is sometimes difficult to try to remember everything that's going on. And so you'll switch from one sentence to another, and then you'll pause. Um, you suppressed a lot
Hmm.
of things.
Oh yeah.
There's a word called repressed. Repress is pretty much is like it's just you just let it go and just forgot about it completely. Something really traumatized you or triggered it where it came out again, right?
Hmm.
You have a lot of things that you dealt with, and a lot of people do. But you choosing your music, getting out of the depression, even though you probably still have depressed symptoms and triggers, but you found ways to cope with it. And the music,
Hmm.
choosing your happiness through music.
Yes.
Because my son, his favorite artist, one of his favorite artists is gosh, what is it? Rod Wave,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
out of all the songs, artists that my son listens to, I really like him listen to Rod Wave because when you listen to his music, the few songs that I have heard, he really talks about his childhood trauma. He
Hmm.
talks about how his trauma formed who he is now, right?
Hmm.
And he still lives through his music. He talks about how his mom there wasn't for him, but his grandmama and his uncle was, how he slept on his uncle's couch. Like he vividly remembers all of this. And you can tell the pain in his songs, right?
Hmm.
And so he's very relatable to a lot of people because people like to understand what they go through music. Think about it. Mary J. Blige, when that song came out, I'm going down.
Yeah.
She right into it, right? Think about it. Mary J, that was her era where she was going through everything when she made that album, right? Where she was sad, she was depressed. I listened to your music.
Mm.
And one of your songs, I cannot remember, but I listened to it the other day. Oh my gosh. It was one of your release, your new release. And I think I made a comment under your post. I was like, hey, this is the one. This the
Mm.
one. But when I listen to it, I can just hear it. I hear
Mm.
like everything, all the release, all the pain and everything in your music. And I applaud you for choosing the happiness in your
Yes.
music, choosing the happiness in your relationship with your wife, even though at
Yes.
times I know it's still a struggle, it's hard because you relate back to those things. But even in our childhood, there are things that happen to us that
Yes.
have taught us to be resilient. I want to use that word. My
Yes.
shirt says broken crayons, still color.
Mm.
Broken crayons, still color.
Yep.
I don't care how broken we are, we still color.
Hmm.
And you're coloring right now. Like just even your smile, your music,
Oh yeah.
and I mean your voice alone. And so I thought about this just came to mind, the wall of withdrawal. We have a habit of withdrawing a lot of things, but we didn't have a lot of deposits in our life.
Mm. Mm.
We withdraw a lot of stuff. Like think about a bank account. You only can withdraw what's in the bank account.
Mm.
If there's no deposits, you're going to withdraw until it's negative, right?
Hmm.
That's life. If you're given a lot of negativity, deposit a lot of negativity in your life, what are you going to withdraw?
Mm.
Right? So when you choose the happiness and you start withdrawing happiness by depositing positivity in your
Hmm.
life, then that's the crayons that still work.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
'Cause
I,
when you was a kid and that crayon break, you would rip the paper off your little teeth.
yes,
Start.
that is so true. Look, see. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna read this too. But see how like the little kid came out of me?
Yeah.
Because something that happened that you described in my childhood that really made me feel like a kid again. And
Yeah.
those are the deposits of, you say sometimes you a fried chicken like you did back in the day to remind you of the positive things that happened back then, right? It is
Mm-hmm.
something here that says indulge your inner child through kidulting, not
Mm.
adult, kidulting. Let me tell you what this means. Too
Mm.
often in the grown-up world, the needs of the inner child are ignored.
Mm.
By spending time doing things you enjoy rather than only doing what you are supposed to do. Individuals can inject happiness and optimism into their lives. You can indulge in board games like Monopoly, toys
Mm.
such as superhero figures or Lego, creative games through crayons or Play-Doh. Think about it. When you
Mm.
have conversations like my cousins, we are like super close. On my maternal grandmother's side, we are like super close. We're called the Baby Kids of the
Mm.
Ruffins. We actually had a song that say, "That's the babies of the Ruffins." Yeah, yeah. Like we really made a song, choreography, and everything to it. So by us being this close and like even to this day, we have our own group chat. We talk every day. We just went and look, y'all, I'm gonna show y'all this. We just went and got a tattoo together. I don't do
Mm.
tattoos, Jus K. But so it looks like, let me show you. Mine's look like a little so
Mm-hmm.
is to gosh, quit it gonna get me. It is today, tomorrow, forever, I love you. That's
Wow.
what it stands for. So all of the cousins when they got the tattoo, right? I put so
Mm-hmm.
much number cream on mine. I didn't even feel anything. I numbed up for about 4 hours. They were laughing at me. So I'm making that point to say this: when we get together and we talk about our childhood memories, we
Mm-hmm.
just all just, I don't care what we're feeling, we light up, we laugh, we talk about
Yeah.
the hopscotch we did, putting
Mm-hmm.
the fishing line from one tree to the other tree and playing volleyball. So
Wow.
those were those childhood memories that we talked about. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you refer back to yours, it brought a smile to my face because through all of the trauma, you remember
Mm-hmm.
those things.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Ag and like all
Yep.
of that stuff. It yeah.
I had Jess K, I had about 6 people come into my inbox and wanted me to share these things. Excuse me. I'm going to read a scenario, and also the viewers out there from the comments that I can see. Can you all give me your feedback too? Just Kay and I are going to talk about this. This is something that someone sent to me. It says it is never too late to have a happy childhood. He said a few days ago, when my older brother and I were sorting through old family photos, we found a picture of us from when we were about 5 and 6 years old. We were smiling, just two kids full of life with no idea of what was to come. This was the start of all the rage. Before all the pain and an unfortunate series of events, my childhood was rough. I know some people may wish to return to those innocent years of playing outside and going about our way without a worry in the world. However, if I had a choice to return to my childhood, I would hesitate at the gate. All the tender age of 11, I was snatched from my home. I didn't know why. All I knew was that my mother had done something bad and that my siblings and I had to be removed for our safety. Look at that. You know how
Mm.
often that happens?
Yes.
Kids are pulled out and going to foster care. And I've seen it firsthand when I did supervised visitations for
Mm.
children in the foster home. And when the kids were pulled from their parents, all the yelling, screaming, not understanding why they have to be pulled away, like to vividly remember that out of everything else,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
that that stood out to me because too often when they're pulled away, they're not really explained as to what the result is going to be. Although a lot of times in the courts, their goal is to restore the family back together. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times they end up in foster care. And what happens in some of the foster cares, because they have other kids, you
Yeah.
have sexual abuse,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Mm.
You have some of the foster parents that's just there for the money. You have some.
Yep.
And so they're not paying attention. So now you have to recycle the trauma all
Mm,
over again. The kids that are older are now being parentified, right? You have the some of the kids in the home who may have been there longer who has favoritism. So now they may get the good meals and the other ones don't get so good meals. See, I know these are true stories
yeah.
because of the therapy that I did with kids, right? This is all childhood trauma. This is
Mm-hmm.
why kids that have the enuresis problem, when they have the enuresis as they are growing up, they don't want to get up and go to the bathroom. You know why?
Mm,
Because they're afraid to go to the bathroom. They were
mm,
beaten, so they're scared. They're traumatized, so their body naturally, because think about it, psychologically and emotionally, your physical responds to that trauma. So
mm.
that's why kids can't understand why I can't get up and just go to the bathroom. Your body just naturally releases it.
Yeah.
Kids hiding food up under mattresses because
Mm-hmm.
because they're not fed. So they're hiding the food up under the mattress. So when they go to the foster care, their foster parent who doesn't have any knowledge of why they may be hiding that. So now they're probably beating them versus saying, it's okay. Any
Yeah.
food that you want, you let me know. You can have the food, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Trauma just carries you and just goes with you everywhere. So, from you hearing this scenario, what do you think this adult who sent me this message, when he seen that picture of him and his brother smiling, but it was the rage that was to come? What would you say to that adult, and what would you say to that 6-year-old?
The 6-year-old, I would tell him it's going to get better. Just keep fighting and keep believing in yourself. Um, the adult version, um, I would say, I told you you would make it.
Mm,
You know, sometimes we can't see the future, but that picture reminded him that he made it.
mm,
You get what I'm saying?
mm.
So it's kind of a flip.
It is. Thank you, Tori. Tori said, "Great discussion." Thank you, Tori. I appreciate it. This is the goal to a lot of people struggling with a lot of things in life, and we're told to suck it up. You got it. Yeah, yeah.
You
We're
know,
gonna make it work because that's that innate ability in a lot of us. And then when you have children, you gotta make it work. You
mm.
have to make it work.
And I
But when you
remember,
go
and I
ahead, I'm
remember
sorry.
when my mother, she used to when she used to work, and my uncle, he used to like watch us, and we stayed in this house, but it was just so scary and eerie.
Mm.
And I remember keep going to the corner store. I'm like, "Do you have any empty boxes?" And they used to be like, "Why you want all these empty boxes?" The man at the corner store. I'm like 10 years old. I'm going with these empty boxes. But what I did was I had two pillows. I would put one pillow behind me, one in front of me, and I would build with those boxes a fort around my bed.
Mm.
Yeah, I would build a big box fort, and I would put a little hole only where I could see through, through the TV. But I wanted to feel safe, you know. And even in the summertime, I slept with a comforter. I would not. I didn't like sheets. I felt like you could see through the sheet, and see. Like I was just scared of the dark. I was afraid of dying, because how I was brought up was
Mm.
like, if you be bad, you're going to hell. I don't know what that is. All I know is fire and brimstone, and the devil is, if you talk back, you're not talking back. You're just, trying to explain yourself.
Yeah,
That was called disrespecting your parents, and
yeah.
so I had to hold it in.
You know what? It is
So,
everybody call me a big crybaby, but let me tell you this. I think I cry so much now, Just K, when that's why I'm in this field of everything I do. I'm all about helping others. I tell my husband all the time that if God was to take me right now, I know I have done what I'm supposed to do here on earth, right? I am all about helping others, and that's why one of the things was this podcast too. I don't care if I get one, two, three here and there. People come back and view it, whatever. I know that the person I am and the purpose in why I'm doing this is reaching people.
Yes.
And I cry so much now when I talk to people or hear things like just even hearing your story because everybody shares some type of commonality that have faced trauma. Whatever type of trauma it is, and again, I'm not going to go really into the clinical realm of it because I'm not playing the therapy role. But whatever trauma we have went through, everybody have built that wall. Everybody have built that wall. Everybody have found something as a security blanket for them.
Mm.
And because they think about it, you do it back then as a child, but we do it as adults now too. And
Mm.
then it feeds over into our kids
Mm. Mm.
because you want to protect them because of what you went through, right?
Mm.
But at the same time, the kids, they don't understand. Like we didn't understand what was happening to us.
Mm.
They don't understand why we may not let them go anywhere. I know Tori, she says all the time, do you know where your children is? Do you know where your children, something to that effect? And I like how she just posted on her page all the time because a lot of times, for me, I look at that in so many ways. Do you know where your children are physically? Do you know where your children are emotionally?
Mm.
Do you know where your children are psychologically? Do you? Because
Mm.
back then, that's why the trauma was so evasive because they didn't ask the questions. They didn't ask. If you didn't eat at the table, you had to sit there all day until the food was gone in some
Yeah.
households. Right? Don't get up, even if you didn't want the food, right? You know how
Mm-hmm.
hard I worked to put that food on the table,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
But you had to sit there and eat something that you didn't want to eat. So
Mm.
now with me, we can cook 2, 3, 4 meals in this house because I'm
Yeah.
not going to make my child or my husband, anybody, sacrifice to eat whatever because of what I went through in my childhood.
Mm.
See how your childhood falls over into your
Yeah.
adulthood.
Yeah. Definitely.
And relationships. Let me tell you what it affects. Because I can't wait for them to hear you sing. It affects things like it affects relationships.
Mm.
Childhood trauma most definitely affects relationships, right?
Yes.
People don't understand why you're as men, they get in their feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a woman would be quick to say, why you acting like a woman? Right?
Mm.
What have you now done to that man? Right? Women, let's talk about culture. The women that was forced to be in single households had to be the mom and the dad, right?
Mm. Mm.
So neglect seeped in because they had to provide for the house. But now the woman has formed a sense of masculinity, right? Because they're the
Mm.
dad. But a woman could never do what a father can do for to a child. Let's make
Mm.
that clear. But because she has that role now women have a tendency, men to say we're too masculine or we want to take the role of a man. Let me just keep it real. And I can speak for a lot of women. We don't want to be a man. We don't want to take the role of a man. We want to be the nurturers. We want to be the ones that is able to be expressive and love. But when you are brought up and you are taught that I don't need a man, I got
Mm.
this because of the separation from that mother and that father or that male and that female. Now this has become a part of who you are too.
Mm.
See, it's a learned behavior. It's
Mm.
person in environment, right?
Mm.
When you're in
Yeah.
your environment and you learn things, you adapt. A lot of times people don't overcome, they stay stuck.
Mm.
You can be 50 years old, but you can still be very permissive and have the mind of a 20-year-old.
Yep.
Did you catch that?
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
It's a lot of unresolved trauma. But choosing happiness.
Yep.
Therapy. Therapy works. Therapy. People have their own religious beliefs. But we have 5 minutes. But see, this is my podcast. I can go over a little bit if I want to. So I just always like to throw that in there, right? Um, but for y'all just coming on, look, Jus K R&B artist, he shared, for some people just coming on, he shared some things that he faced in his childhood and how it affected him growing up, how he chose relationships that worked or didn't work. But being in music for over 15 years, y'all, Jus K, I want you to pick a song that you want to sing, and you can stop it wherever you want to. And then once you sing, I want you to let them know how they can follow you, how they can listen to
Okay.
your music, purchase your music, whatever, because I love your music. It is
Thank you so much.
everything. You're welcome. And remind them again of how you were not only traveling all over the world, before you hit the depression and everything and kind of bounced back from everyone and withdrawn and became isolated. You said Paul Andre. I remember Paul Andre. Was he 95.5 or 92.1?
5.5.
Okay. All right. What was
Him,
the name of the song?
D-Train. It was
D
him and
Train.
D-Train. I can't remember the lady's name. It was what is her name? Oh God, I can't remember her name. Crude up something. I can't remember her name, but she used to be over there too. But they took the song, and I had email. I was just emailing a bunch of programming directors,
Okay.
and that's how it got to him. But I didn't even know he blew it up till he asked me to come do a talent show. He asked me to come and judge one, and when they said my name, the crowd just went crazy, and I was like, "Huh?" Like I actually
Me?
cried because the whole front row jumped on stage, pulled the mic out. I had to run in the back, and I started crying because I never experienced nothing like that in my life.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I was crying. I cried, and then I had to go back out and perform. But yeah, it was because I didn't know what happened. I went from just nothing, to that quick. I didn't go there expecting that.
But a lot of artists say that. A lot of artists say last week I was they'll say this. Last week I was really nothing, but now I'm something to everybody. Like really? So
Mm-hmm.
again, it shows you can be depressed, sad, form this into your music, and then you get a hit, and now from this to that, you're making a lot of money, you're in front of a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, but the inside of you is still poor.
Oh
You're rich
yeah.
in your accounts, but you're poor inside. And when you pour inside, I tell my husband all the time, you have more rich people and more wealthy people that are committing suicide, and they are really sad because money does not buy happiness. It
Nope.
provides stability, but it does not provide happiness. And when you are not rich in the spirit, then you are poor in all other
Mm-hmm.
ways. I tell people that. So I want you to give us a touch because I'm ready to hear some music. You see, look, I'm already smiling right now. So
I'm gonna sing
I love
special
to
for you.
smile. Okay. All right. Tell us which song you're going to sing, and then give us a little taste of it, and then explain where they can find your music at and what platforms you're on.
I was gonna sing special for y'all with the
Do
beat
that.
playing.
Do
Or
that.
what.
Do that. Do that.
I'll stop it after a certain point, but
Okay.
it is my song special that really got me to where I am, and I'm gonna tell you what the song is really about.
Okay.
But it's really not about a woman. It's about God. When you really listen to the lyrics, I just took it and flipped it around. But it's about my relationship with God, and God
All right.
telling to trust Him.
All right.
So all right, let's see. All right, hold on, let me get it. Here you go.
Okay. Take your time.
My. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, you special girl. Listen, it's been a long, long time since I said I love you, and I know it's been a while since I took the time to hold you, and I'm sorry, girl. Let me tell you how much you're special. Oh, no, 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 no. Listen, I know at times I could be so cold to you. Listen, but girl, that doesn't mean that I'm not in love with you. I'm gonna change my way. Let me tell you. Yeah. Yes.
No, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
You're special. I adore you. No, 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 no. Listen, girl. No, I should tell you. No, you shouldn't go. That's my responsibility. Oh, 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 oh. You shouldn't question yourself about me. Take my hand. Let me tell you, girl, you're special. Whoa, whoa. You shouldn't question yourself about me. Oh, I'm sorry that I acted so cold to you. Listen, girl, I know I should say it more, but I adore you. No, 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 no. No, no. My, you're special, show, girl, girl. You know, yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah, man.
sounds so good.
Yeah.
Look, oh my gosh. Okay, so
Yeah. That's the one right
Jus
there.
K, which one was that one?
That was special.
That
That's
was
the one that. That's the one
that
that.
was the one.
Yeah.
And so I think, hold on, were you on 106 in Park?
And Monique. Yeah.
Yes, I remember you being on 106 in Park too. I mean, you, oh my gosh. And then
Yeah.
that's when depression hit, you lost your mom, and you just
Yeah. Yep.
hey,
Yeah.
okay, so Jus K. I know you're producing people now too. Where can people buy your music?
Okay.
I mean, what is your goal now? What are you doing now? Because I know you're making your singles and everything. What are you doing now to get yourself back out there?
I'm promoting. I'm starting to, I'm starting to do the Southern Soul circuit to see what that does.
Okay.
Because I'm more mature now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I can't, but it's just a mature crowd. And but I'm
Yes.
being me. I'm being myself in the Southern Soul world. I'm not trying to be, a King
Yep.
George or Richardson or Sir Charles Jones. I'm not trying. I'm just being me, who I am. you know, but still bringing it over the Southern soul beat. So that's what I'm doing. But you can find everything at Jus K Music, Instagram at Jus K Music, Facebook at Jus K Music, YouTube at Jus K.
Okay. So it's
So
JUSK Music.
yep, music. That's on everything.
Okay. On Facebook, IG, and YouTube. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
I just put it
Everything
up.
pops up.
Okay, Jus K, JUSK Music on Facebook, IG, and YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. All right, y'all. You all have to go to Jus K. That's JUSK Music. I'll put it in the comments on Facebook, IG, and YouTube. Hey, look, I need for you to reach back out to, D-Train, everybody, get this back out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, I keep hearing that from a lot of people. Like they say it's a whole world out there. Things that's old to somebody else is new to other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, Tank tell you all the time, R&B is where it is.
Oh yeah, and that's the whole thing. And that's the whole thing with me trying to. Well, here's what I'm doing. My whole goal is to get into the Southern Soul circuit and then take this song and push it back out.
I got it. I'm playing. I got it. Because Southern Soul is really taking over.
Yeah.
Like rap, everybody, the young kid, the generation really to rap. But Southern Soul, you have a Southern Soul concert, it's going to sell out.
Oh yeah, definitely. And and they don't even have radio, and they're doing numbers. So
yes, and they're breaking them too. My mom came up here and said she was like, "Wow, he sounds good."
Thank you, thank you, thank
Love
you.
the song, singing it. She said, "Yes, keep going." Oh my God, sing it. Yes,
yes.
I'm
Thank
done.
you so much.
Guys, look, it is such an honor. You're a celebrity. Like,
oh yeah,
I
sometimes yeah.
But you're so humble.
Yes, you have to be.
You've always been so humble. Like
Yes.
literally, even when you opened up at one of our shows,
Yes.
You're so sweet and you're so humble. And so I appreciate you coming on to the podcast. And I appreciate you choosing happiness over childhood trauma.
Yes.
Even though I know sometimes, it still comes up and is triggered, but it's the coping that matters and it's becoming unstuck. So
when it does creep in, what I tell people, what you got to do is, it's just a feeling. It's going to pass. Just ride it out. Don't let it take you down the rabbit hole. It's just a feeling. It's going to pass. Let it pass. It has to do its course, but it can't live without you. It needs you to live. So you can kill it.
Woo! I like when you say it's riding with you, because that's that baggage, right? It is riding, but stay in it. But you can my friend Leticia always tell me, she like, people so often always want to just get out of things, but you should just stay in it. And she really teach me, look, stay in it. It's okay. It's okay. You got to write it out, because we often try to shake it off. I'll be okay. I'm all right. In the same sentence, I'm feeling this, but I'll be okay. In the same sentence. Tori said, beautiful. This is right on time. This song is amazing. I'm literally rebuilding my relationship with God right now. Tori, keep going. Do it.
Yes. Keep going, Tori.
Yes. It's no wrong time. It's your time. When it says the on time, God knows.
Yes.
God already know before we know. He just saying, come on, surrender. Come to me. And
you can't be clean unless you was dirty. So that's the only way. So
look. Hey, ask me he's seen one more before you all leave, please, if he can.
I just got over a cold. That's why. Whew,
we can't tell.
I know, but I can feel it.
Okay, so you don't have to.
I'll sing a piece of a Southern Soul song, Lucky Charm.
Okay, do that. Okay. All right, y'all. He's gonna give you a piece of a Southern Soul. All right, let's go. Okay.
Here we go. It's called Lucky Charm.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Listen. Hey. This is on Spotify too.
On Spotify, okay.
So beautiful. Here she is. I can't get her off my mind. No. And she give me that sweet, sweet loving. Listen, all day and night. Yeah. She's got my heart. She's got my soul. And I can't wait to get around her to let her know. Man, you can't tell me nothing. Man, that girl is something.
Hey.
Ooh, yeah. Baby. Yeah. She's a special lady. Uh-huh. I keep her on my arm. You know why? 'Cause she's my lucky charm. Listen, when we go to the club, all eyes on her. 'Cause there's
Hey.
nothing like a lady that knows her worth. And I'm so glad that she's mine, yeah. That girl is one of a kind, yeah. She's got my heart. She's got my soul. I can't wait to get around her to let her know. Man, you can't tell me nothing. Man, that girl is something. Listen, there's something about my baby. Yeah, she's a special lady. Uh-huh. I keep her on my arm. Listen, she's my lucky charm. You know? So yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so that's called Lucky Charm.
I like that. I'll put it there for people to go to Spotify as well. But I want you to come back to the post and put your information too. And then you let me know. We're going to talk offline. My mama said, I am in the car dancing and rocking to that music now. And look, for real, my mom is a member of the Elks down there, and that thing stay pat. People still go there because they know how to act. The older crowd know how to act. So I'm gonna talk to her. Maybe you can go out there. They can book you, go out there and sing, whatever.
Oh yeah, I've done Elks before, man. With special, yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yes. You really, today was a very busy day for me and a heavy day in some parts. You really I really do like to smile. I like from my cheek to her. I do, and you really make me smile. I love music too, so I really appreciate that. My husband, he can sing. I mean, if I say he'll be like, Lord, there she go. He can hold a tune.
Yeah.
And so I know as soon as I finish, she's gonna say, oh my gosh, he sounds good. Because we really didn't hear you at the show because we backstage because we part of the show. So I really didn't hear you sing. So I'm really hearing you now besides me listening to your music. And a person that can sing in person, see, you're not in the studio, like you're in your home studio, but you're singing live and in person.
Yes.
And you sound good.
Thank you.
Y'all, book Jus K. I don't know if you're doing bookings, but I'm telling you.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all, book Jus K. You all know how y'all have your shows or whatever. Book Jus K. I'm going to also put his information. I'm going to come back tomorrow because we always do a recap of the show tonight. We'll recap it tomorrow. And when we recap it tomorrow, we're going to put your information for people to follow you, purchase your music, whatever. We're going to recap it tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. So people that missed tonight can come back and watch. I'm going to have her show the part where you're singing, not while I'm talking. They can come back and watch that. I want to hear you singing. So thank you so much. And tell your wife, thank you
for having me, man.
Yes, for allowing us to hear your beautiful voice.
You've been great, and you always treat people with love and respect from the beginning. Like I felt that from you. I definitely felt that.
Thank you. I'll try to. I can be different sometimes, a little difficult, but that's part of that trauma that but for the most part, I do have a good heart. I do. I really do have a good heart and I mean well. But then sometimes that military kick in and it's a no nonsense. People say you're not in the military anymore. But yes, thank you so much for you all that you're welcome. For you all that just tuned in, we talked about with R&B artist Jus K. Jus K Music. You can find him on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. Also, one of his R&B, of course, but he's doing Southern Soul as well. He just did a perform for us. So some of you all missed. I see some people just popped on. Lucky Charm on Spotify. I will come back tomorrow and repost a lot of the information for you all. This topic tonight, I know it reached a lot of people. My shirt says broken crayons, still color. I'm going to end by saying that even though you feel broken sometimes, you're still full of color.
Yep.
Just pick up the pieces that's left and do your best and just keep pushing, right?
Yep.
Relationships are difficult sometimes to deal with. It's difficult to deal with who you are, your interpersonal skills and everything when you feel broken. Stay in it. Figure out why you're in it. Understand what's going on in your body at that time from the stress. And just give yourself grace. All right?
Yep.
You only can withdraw what you deposit. Try to deposit happiness. Again, Jus K, thank you so much. You all have a good night.
Welcome.
We're going to show the replay tomorrow, and I'm going to drop the topic on next Thursday at 7 o'clock. This is your girl, Deborah Vines-Epps with Talk Your Talk, and we appreciate you all. Y'all have a good night, and choose happiness over childhood trauma. Salute, Jus K. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.